Hey investors, Brad Penley here from Growth Vue Properties, coming to you from the beautiful La Jolla shores in San Diego, California. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between active and passive investing, and specifically syndication investing. Now, I spent about 7 to 10 years in active investing, depending on how you look at it. I bought my first single family home and then small multifamily residences and then commercial property as well. But in those years, the one term that could kind of consolidate all of those ideas is head trauma. Head trauma because you're completely responsible for finding the asset, buying the asset, and then managing the asset as an active investor. Everything is on you. Everything from finding the right property, doing the financial due diligence, doing the hard due diligence and physical due diligence, to once you purchase the property, then being responsible for all the mortgage payments, the taxes, the insurance. And for each one of those properties, it has its own taxes, insurance, and any liabilities that come along with it. Then you also have to be the property manager and or find a property manager. If you are the property manager, you're getting the late night calls, the weekend calls, the vacation calls, when inevitably something goes wrong. Now, the difference is something called syndication. In syndication, you pull resources from multiple investors, which also you minimize your risk across the investment portfolio, and you go together and you buy an asset. Now, passive investing, the team like Growth Vue Properties does all the research, the data analytics, the financials, and the physical due diligence. Then we manage the asset, and more specifically is we find third-party property managers that are specifically educated and trained to be able to manage large properties. This gives us an economy of scale. So at above about 100 units, we're able to have one full-time leasing agent on hand and at least one full-time maintenance man on site at all times. Then, as a company, we only have to review what our business plan is and to make sure that any improvements are being enacted, whether it's management improvements and or maintenance improvements, and then pass along any dividends collected in rents from the tenants back to the investors. So in a syndication deal, basically you get to sit by the beach, you get to relax on your vacation, you get to enjoy time with your kids. You let all the worry go to someone else, and then you sit back and collect the checks. That's why Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, calls syndication deals the lazy way to invest. So if you are an active property manager, an active investor, and you're beleaguered, or you've reached the limit where banks won't loan to you anymore, 10 properties if you're an individual, 20 if you're a couple and you're both getting the properties in your individual names. But once you've hit that max, you're kind of unable to scale. In syndications, with a minimum investment of $50,000, you can go into multiple deals. You can spread any risk amongst multiple deals, and you share all your profits across multiple deals. So in that way, you've completely diversified your portfolio. You've opened yourself up to make massive scales through scales of economies, and you can realize any gains with minimizing any potential risk that couldn't be involved. If you have any more questions, please hit me up at brad@thegrowthvue.com. I come from a personal active investor background and have invested in multiple passive deals, and now we're putting together deals so you can invest passively and realize the financial freedom and the time freedom that I have now.